Hey, it's Ben LeSage. I'm from Calgary, Alberta, and I play center.
What's it been like seeing some of the Arrows guys that you haven't had an opportunity to see in quite some time?
Yeah, no, I mean, great to see a lot of familiar faces. I think you kind of fall back into old habits super quick. So many of them, like you said, have been training with, but a few of them, whether they're West Coast based or other places, and even a few new faces to the mix will be kind of new to the team this coming year. I mean, I think it goes without saying that everyone's great guys, going to be great teammates. And the more familiarity there is, the better.
How would you describe your first season as a professional athlete?
Oh, it was incredible. You know, to be able to make rugby your livelihood is certainly a privilege and not something I take for granted. And I think I had good expectations coming into the Arrows in terms of I knew how quality a bunch of the teammates were. I knew there was a quality staff in place. But I think all those expectations were even exceeded just in terms of how well we were taken care of as players. The facilities that we get to train out of, you know, U of T is kind of some of the best facilities. That gym there is world class. So I think in terms of the expectations of the environment, it's the perfect environment to kind of hone your craft, so to speak, and develop as a rugby player. And certainly think I got a lot out of it, just being able to play rugby week in, week out at a high level. So definitely looking forward to kind of hopefully a longer season this year and then being in that environment again. And think I'm able to take quite a bit out of it as a rugby player for sure.
So it was your first season as a professional athlete. I'm curious, making the jump from club and international player to the professional scene, was there anything that you found to be particularly challenging in that transition, or perhaps something that you hadn't expected within the professional game that was there waiting for you when you arrived?
I think, I mean, it'd be a bit hypocritical here per se, but as much as the season was cut short, I think that's the aspect of the professional game that was really new to me. I'm fortunate to have played at a high level here and there, but usually you go on tour, you play 3 or 4 games, and then you've got a bit of a down period where you can rest, you can recover, and so you're really able to get up for those 3 or 4 games because you know there's that limited number of them. It's a test match, so how couldn't you get up for it? And then you're kind of back to that down period between tours. When you enter the professional environment here, you got 16 games on the trot, plus preseason, plus potentially playoffs. And so each game, I don't want to say blends into each other, but I think there's a real risk for allowing that to happen. So just to have the mental sort of fortitude to realize to take 1 week at a time, to take every single game as its own individual game that you need to get up for and focus for and plan for, and understand that it's basically this never-ending stream for several months. It's I think definitely a new approach to rugby than I've had before, and so definitely just something I was mindful of and monitored through the season, and tried to make sure there's no points where I was slipping up a little bit there.
What are some of the goals that you've set for yourself for the upcoming MLR season?
You know, I think I alluded to it a little bit earlier, but for myself, it's about playing my first full professional season. So understanding the challenges that come with it and extending some of those learnings I had over a 5-week period, over a 16-week period, and definitely for the Arrows, hopefully longer than that. And I think that just ties in my personal goals, really more relate to the team. I want to make sure that the Arrows, with the roster that we have, with what we showed last year, I think we've got as good a shot as any other team in this league to compete for the Shield this year, and would be incredibly disappointed if we weren't in the mix right at the end there. So everything that I'm going to be doing individually will be with that goal in mind, and whether that's helping out with different aspects of the team, or whether that's making sure I understand my role completely and fill that to a T and to the best of my abilities to help contribute to that goal at large. That'll be what I have in mind.
Vega on the receiving end. As now they go wide, they poke through the other side. Moore! Dan Moore, he dots it down for the try.
Very with Bill Webb as the owner. Couldn't find a nicer human being, I don't think, or a more generous human being. And his love for rugby and his love for Canadian rugby and the city of Toronto, I think that flows throughout the organization. And so there's really a theme throughout the organization in promoting Canadian talent in terms of growing the game in Toronto, and not just Toronto, across Canada as the only MLR team. And so instead of kind of pitting rivalries or whatever, it's hey, hop on the Arrows bandwagon. This is a welcoming bandwagon as much as it is, like I said, within the team in terms of the culture. And as a team, we just want to win an MLR Shield, and willing to bring on anyone on board who's willing to and able to contribute to that. So I think the kind of fan experience mimics a lot of what we have as in terms of a team and a culture, and without being able to find one word that describes that perfectly, I think it's just a really optimistic, positive environment that's open-armed.